How do you plead?
My client enters a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Hey. Good one?
Yeah, that's good.
This is the worst disaster for the Army Rangers since the Black Hawk Down fiasco.
Maybe we should wait for the facts to come out before we delve into the world of hyperbole.
A 24-hour news cycle and easy access to the internet? That is the world of hyperbole.
I've served with Barker for a long time, since sergeant stripes were on that collar. There's no way what they're saying is true. No way, not true.
Still, the Article 32 hearing didn't look promising. This court-martial is going to be bad. Really bad.
Depends on how many of the jury panel are combat vets, I'd say.
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to speak in my own defense.
Proceed.
I stand here accused of violating Article 133 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, conduct unbecoming an officer, which I completely and irrevocably refute, as well as Article 92, failure to obey order or regulation, which I completely and irrevocably do not. But I am accused of conducting myself in a manner unworthy of being commissioned an officer in the infantry of this United States, of running from my men, fathers, sons, brothers, lovers. And that, sir, Your Honor, gentlemen of the panel, I just did not do. Some of you know how it feels to be in battle, to be in a fight, to suddenly and frighteningly realize that anything you do, whatever you do, could be the last thing you do, no matter how well thought or executed. That is the very nature of war. I recall reading about the first female combat aviator in the Navy, how she crashed her aircraft into the carrier, and about all the pundits positing how women just did not belong in combat roles. Those who wanted to make an example of her, those who wanted to burn her at the stake. I am aware of the investigation, its improper and incorrect conclusion, and the Army's version of due process that has brought me here today. And I must tell you, it is not fair. I do not believe for an instant that if I were a man, this would have come to trial. I was a prisoner of war. And I'm of the belief, a belief supported by many, but the sole reason I'm standing here today alive is because we were fighting an enemy who did not expect to find this American soldier, an American woman, on the battlefield. I don't know about you, but I find this hysterical. The irony of American equality that leads us, that has brought us to this crossroads. In addition to being an officer, I am also a mother. And while there is little so powerful as taking another person's life, the one thing more powerful is giving life. I was reminded of that on the battlefield. While being shot at, while, yes, wondering if I should run and hide. By the time my men were dead or dying, I had collapsed from exhaustion, from fear, from sorrow, from depression, every other negative thing you could imagine. And as the enemy approached our position, Corporal James Alexander Williams lay dying in my lap. I heard many last words that day. Some silly, some sad, some sexual. But Corporal Williams, his last words never came. Instead, he just looked up at me, reached for my hand, and for whatever reason, he ended up weakly grasping my index finger. And I cried. Even as I aimed my weapon and continued to fight, I just cried. I cried until I ran out of ammunition, cried until the enemy found me, tied me up, beat me, stopped beating me, and then beat me again. I just cried. Because the last time anyone grabbed my finger like that was the day I gave birth to my baby boy. In the last moments of Corporal Williams' life, he had the hubris, the beautiful, accidental arrogance to remind me of the birth of my son. To remind me that I have not just taken life, but I have also given it. I have tasted it with my own blood, the blood of my son and the blood of my men. Man has known for an eternity that it is so easy to destroy. And woman is now learning this for herself. What woman has known for an eternity, and that man will probably never learn, is that it is so hard to create. I made a mistake that day. I led my men to their destruction, but I led them. I fought alongside them as a soldier, and especially as a ranger should. And if Corporal Williams hadn't put me in awe of the circle of life and death, I would have died too, alongside them, proudly. If that, gentlemen, is what you consider conduct unbecoming an officer, then fine. I guess there's no point in fighting that.
Good morning, ma'am.
Rangers, lead the way. Before any of you gentlemen hit me up with fallacious rhetoric about your 50% contribution to creation, let me remind you, your contribution to creation is the same as your contribution to destruction. All you do is provide the fucking bullets.